Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're gonna call this deck number 1, and I'm not gonna change the name. Some of the other ones I will, but this is deck 1. This is the new, the best. This is what I brought to the tournament. It did pretty well for me. The only times it didn't were when I was tilting really bad because I'd had a loss and was just trying to get a win and made really bad plays. But it got me the win against Kalebron in the finals as it was cast by Sealy. I think the Sealy and Shaggy gave it some respect. It deserves that respect. It's really fun. It's got some spice to it. I hope you guys try it out because this is, in my opinion, one of the better ways to play Overwhelming Hunger. We're going to show you some spicy ways to play cards as well that people don't usually think of. One of those being Werecat with the Thrive. Come on, use its Thrive. It's 3 points. But anyway, so this deck runs Plague Maiden, Glusty Warp, and Sheetroll of Verrigan, in addition to the Frightener, Haunt, Detlef combo that you're seeing a lot on ladder. So let's take into some gameplay. I really like Feast of Blood in here as well for tourney play. So this is going to purify an enemy, damage it by 3, and then give it 3 bleeding. Really helpful against defenders. Monsters doesn't really have a great way of dealing with defenders normally. Naglfar Taskmasters and Drowners being the usual way people deal with them. But Feast of Blood is really, really helpful card. It's only 4 provisions, and it's always getting at least 3 points of value, even when you have it at the wrong time. And easily can get 6 because your leader charge is spawning Ekimaras, and Ekimaras are actually holy crap! Somebody is dedicated, and Ekimaras are vampires, so you get that extra bleed. I just want to point out that I mean, I'm glad I'm playing against this guy, so I get to see all the cool stuff without having to spend all the money myself. Alright, so in Dragon Warriors, you can use them, you can consume stuff and get some good value there. Unfortunately, a little bit this round, we kind of got, like, all the things we want. So we're probably not going to play a ton of cards. Hidden Cache is always kind of interesting. You do have to play around stuff like Heat Wave sometimes. But I'm guessing they don't have a Tin Boy, so we can show you guys maybe just the Glusty Sheetroll play with Cave Troll this round. But we'll see what the opponent commits. Yeah, it looks like they have dedicated themselves either intensely to get all of the armor and all of the games played that you need to get to level 100 of the journey. But I'm liking it. I'm liking what I see. People in chat using language I can't share on YouTube, but I share your sentiments. That is quite the dedication. You can buy your way there. It's possible the player bought their way, but I know for the helmet, you do have to play 30 games with the other helmet, right? So that certainly this person is dedicated to the game, and I applaud them for that. I'm not complaining whatsoever. So I do like to get Naglfar, you guys know, round 1 or round 2, because it does top deck that other gold. Can be really nice. So we did miss that. We don't run Gaels here. We don't run Oniro. In large part just because there's so much value in the deck. There's no reason to to do that. Now we can go for Parasite here on Devon Hurst. That can be helpful in getting some punish and then setting up for a Wild Hunt Rider, but it doesn't get me a removal. Instead, I think what we're going to do is go for Goliath. We can also play out Frightener this round as well. We did miss Foglets, so I do like to use Andregas typically on Foglets, but we can use it on Goliath and like Plague Maiden if we really want to get nasty. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead here and go for a Frightener. We'll play this to melee row. I love this border. These like vials. Potion juice. Super cool looking. They're getting more and better and better art. I find in some other games after COVID hit, the artwork kind of degraded in quality. for CDPR, it's definitely kind of gone up. Letting their artists do whatever they want has been really beneficial. All right, so removing Saul is actually something that I'm fine doing. Not really. Frightener is anytime your units are destroyed. So some people didn't know this while I was playing in tournament, but it does not have to be yourself doing the work. The opponent can go ahead and do that work for you. So let them. Here we're gonna go for Plague Maiden. So another thing you can do that techs really well against Firesworn. If we had Werecat here, we would put all these down to 1 point. Obviously, the opponent can spend to get these all changed back over into these Flaming Rose Footmen. But if you're able to do that, say how I had described before, where you are using Werecat originally, maybe just on Von Hurst, and then leveling up the Thrive, and then proccing it all at once, doing that damage to those units, and then dropping Glusty Warp all at the same time, you can find some really good value that way. So here we do want to go for Cave Troll. We do want to protect this She-Troll of Vergen. And you're going to see some crazy points that we're able to put up here. We are relentless in our quest for glory. Poison on Cave Troll is fine. We can do this all in one turn. We just have to play She-Troll first. Here I think they're playing around Werecat a little bit. They do get some great value. That's fine, we don't care. Heatwave would be problematic onto our Glusty Warp or our She-Troll, but I'm happy trading those now and saving the full value of my Haunt for later. We'll just have to see how committed the opponent is to sticking into this round. So now the play is to go, we do a consume onto Plague Maiden here, and then we're going to play Glusty Warp. Obviously that's going to destroy the Plague Maiden, and then all of the 7 Rats, which is going to get the Dormant Frightener awakened into a 12-point immune unit. Notably, that can be really helpful against like Tavern Brawls. We played around some of the opponent's stuff that way, where they can't force a duel onto an immune unit. So you can play She-Troll on one side and Glusty Warp on the other side, and the opponent can't do much about it. So here the opponent's really committed to this round, and we're going to show them how points are made. Exactly what dreams are made of right here. So again, what we want to do, we just want to proc this Overwhelming Hunger leader charge here. That's going to get us so just alone, if you play Plague Maiden, one of the best plays in the game with a leader charge, right? So she comes down 7 points, you get the consume, and you can do this all at once if you're just trying to tempo. 7 points, 9, and then you get an additional 7 Rats. So right here, you are looking at 16 points of tempoed value in one play. Now, obviously, you saw on Monday's video with Lippy, Saris, the second time playing for incredible value. But, you know, I like this one a little bit more because you don't have to do any setup the first round. And you see us here transforming Frightener. We go up to 71. The opponent here now needing to make a 17-point play to stay in this game. And they are out of room on their melee row, so they are a little bit pinched. Only 2 coins. They can't use any of the expensive tributes. You know, an erasure of She-Troll with something like Karathi Heatwave would be annoying, but it's not the end of our world. Oh, and something else to point out that somebody is pointing out on stream. Thank you very much, Chairman Wu. Make sure you have enough room on your row, right? So you need to have an extra empty spot for the Ekimaras to spawn. So this is exactly what we played against. People don't realize this with Frightener. Frightener is immune. We were specifically playing around Tavern Brawl, and we're just going to take the pass here. Really happy with the output we had. You know, I think Heatwave or Geralt or Igni would have been really bad. These are both 20, so not the most genius play I've ever made. But yeah, the opponent has forfeited. I really don't think they stood much of a chance. They played a lot of their good cards that round. We still in hand had Wild Hunt Riders. I would have played as first play as 8 points. Then we could have played Goliath. And depending on how the opponent played, we actually could consume the Goliath. It often pulls out stuff like Jacques, since he is a 6-point unit, and Syndicate doesn't really have any super tall units other than Pugo Boombreaker. And most people are just playing that in Monsters deck anyway. Let's jump into another game. See if we can get somebody to play a full game with us. But yeah, I think you just get a crazy good value out of this deck. But that's typically, I actually like to play that series with Haunt. There aren't as many Death Wish cards in this deck. I would say that's kind of the one failing it has. You do have to be very thoughtful and cautious about your Death Wishes. Nilfgaard causes problems with the locks on Plague Maiden, so you do often have to consume her all at once. They don't have as much row punish, so you just have to kind of be aware of what your opponent has, play around them. I would say this deck is not as new player friendly as our prior version. We are on Blue Coin, and we do run Magic Lamp here, so we're fine with Wild Hunt Rider, and I really like having Foglet. The only thing I might like to have would be Consume of some type for the Foglet, but this is going to work just fine. Now, Haunt is really helpful here. We're going to save Foglet and Detlef just in case the opponent wants to put up some heavy pressure this round, and we want to be able to use Haunt. But because there's so much value in the cards with this deck, you can just play a little bit, I don't want to say recklessly, but you can lay it all out there, right? You can just put your points on the board without regret and get some really good value that way. So here, this is a little annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Unfortunately, Brux has only 2 points of bleed, so it would have been nicer to get 3 points so we could like erase 3-point units with it. But this works. I think Ardfen Tortoise would be the only thing that really would be frustrating for me here, just with Wild Hunt Riders wanting to have dominance, but this is fine. It doesn't bother me at all. Again, this is why we keep Magic Lamp. We do get the removal here, and not the end of our day by any means. So we just trigger that. That gets us a 5-point unit. 4 points is the highest the opponent had, and here we're at 7 cards. So that's what we're really trying to get this triggered for. You know, we already see Ramon. We see commitment to nominal engine value in a soldier's package. So I think NL Conqueror is one I'm more than happy to use this round. I think, you know, it's good value. It triggers our thrives. Foglet is also great here, but again, I do want to kind of hold on to some of my Death Wish units. Just because the only other ones I really have are Werecat and Plague Maiden. Goliath also is, though, too. So, that being the case, let's actually just go ahead and get down Foglet. I'm going to trigger this Indregalarva Thrive here. I don't anticipate the opponent is going to want to go ahead and pass having played Ramon. They've committed a lot more to this round than we have. You know, we've played a 5... a 5, a 4, and a 4. They've now played Oniromancy, Ramon, and they're committed to trying to win this out for reasons we may never be able to fully explain with science. So one thing that is interesting here, we're going to go ahead and play Frightener for a couple of reasons. Number one, the opponent really needs to remove our stuff to get maximum value. We're going to go ahead and take out this Foglet here. But we get the consume there. That works for us. We're either going to chase out the opponent of the round with this, or we're going to force them to kind of just do pings without murdering our stuff. And their double crossbowmen with the rest of the soldiers package makes it kind of difficult to play around. So here, if he gets the kill on this Indregalarva, for example, he's just doing us a favor. We will go for NL Conqueror here. I like NL Conqueror is much better than Ardfen Tortoise. And if the opponent was kind of relentless here and they make another play, we're just going to go ahead for Detlef. We get the Thrives triggered. We get Frightener transformed. And then Detlef plays for 19 points of value. So we've gotten the opponent to commit some really good value cards. I'm happy to commit a 9 and a 10 after they've committed a 13, which they do get back again, but a 13 and a 10 themselves. So again, we do miss a Death Wish unit for our Haunt, but this is almost certainly going to push the opponent out of this round. So we're going to drop this down. We go for the Overwhelming Hunger Consumes here. I will say, though, with Plague Maiden, we do definitely need to keep Haunt. But I want this transformed. I want the opponent to just get buried here. That way we can guarantee a longer round and try to get the draws we want. We got our thinning cards out with Wild Hunt Riders and with Foglets. And the greatest thing about this package on ladder is the opponent has no idea that you're planning a Glusty Warp She-Troll nutsness. And you can get really, really great value out of the surprise mechanic there. So here we get Werecat. That's one Death Wish unit. Let's see if we can get one more. Naglfar is kind of perfect here. So I'm going to get one of these 5 golds. So I'm going to see if I can get some consistency here, putting Dragolarva's back. So the only one I really don't want to play, I don't want Glusty Warp or Plague Maiden. So I actually really have like 1 out of 4 chance of getting the unit I want, which is a little bit unfortunate. That being the case, I think we're actually just going to go ahead and take a pass here and see if we can get some consistency with Naglfar next round to give us 1 out of 2 options. Notably, Glusty Warp and Plague Maiden we both need, and so if we can get it whittled down to give us both of those options, we'd be in a much better spot. We do need to guarantee a consume from our Haunt, so we will try to play that behind Defender. Here the opponent going for the second Oniromancy play on a dead round. It's very weird. I guess they have everything else they want. I don't have a better way of explaining that play. Okay, we get Goliath. Fine, but I want the other 2. We're going to put Bruxa back. We're actually going to oddly keep Feast of Blood here. We get Glusty, so now we only have 2 golds left. One of those is Plague Maiden, so we're kind of in the perfect spot. And there's enough thinning to this deck you've seen where, you know, we missed our Andregolarva as the second part, but we get like all of our golds that we could ever want or imagine or dream of here, so. It is the final round, so getting Goliath out with a sacrifice doesn't make a ton of sense. We know that this deck is not Devotion already because of this Haunt, because of this Mastercrafted Spear. I don't have another way of consuming my Plague Maiden, but I think we're gonna have to take the risk here and just go ahead and drop down Haunt and then protect it later with Cave Troll. Just because the She-Troll, well, I mean, if he's going to get erased, they're going to be able to 1-2 punch this anyway. Presumably with, oh, let's find out. Curse of Corruption would kill this. You know, any of the tech cards that do removals of highest cards or lowest cards or any of those things. Alright, that actually works fine for us. Not depressing whatsoever. They now have no way of dealing with our Haunt. So I am not displeased. This is going to be a little frustrating to deal with the opponent's plays here. Not a lot we can do about it. Turning Joust is a little bit weird. But the general play strategy from this Imposter deck is to go no unit. Not a ton we can do about it. So we will proc a Bargus if we played Goliath. That would probably be my normal play here. So we have to play something that we don't mind consuming, and I think that's actually just going to be Plague Maiden. We don't have a better way of going about that quite yet. So everything else you're gonna want to play to melee, as you're gonna get all these units spawned arranged. Now we can go ahead and play Goliath. That's gonna bring out the Night Wraith. Just gonna give us some more of those rats. Cadaverine was what I was expecting, to be honest. I think here they might go for the destruction of all the rats. So we have to make this choice of what do we want to do now, what do we want to do later. I think they're going to go for this removal. So we're just going to here start with She-Troll. And we're just going to consume one of these rats. Actually, we're going to hold. We need to use this consume on the Night Wraith. So this is, you know, if they go ahead and delete these, that's going to be unfortunate. We're going to lose a lot of value. Not a whole lot we can do about that. Here they play that beforehand, which seems a little bit strange to me, because now Cadaverine has surpassed the rats. I think that was a bit of a misplay. I think the greatest value they would have gotten is going ahead to delete those and then playing that tactic card. But, you know, can all be geniuses. Alright, we're going to play these different rows just in case the opponent is doing some kind of nasty business here. So, and for those of you unfamiliar, Cadaverine starts with Zeal, so he could have dropped this down and deleted me immediately after I had played the rats. But it also gets this this increased charge every round. Tainted Ale is a little bit weird here too. I understand the compunction to want to go no unit, but as stated, very strange. Alright, here we're just going to go for Glusty. You know, it is a target for the opponent, but our other units are tech units. Not a lot we can do about it. So here Glusty comes down. We're at 49 points with 3 really tall units, all of different sizes. You know, Treason is the reason I didn't play this up here, but it is possible that the opponent is running like Yurden. What are you going to do? So Werecat's going to at least get a Thrive proc. Go ahead and play that back here. The opponent here holding on to the Imposter. I think the lock on Goliath is what they're going to be looking for, and then likely going for a Consume. Sorry, for this Petrie's Filter tells me that they're likely going to be playing a Vautier. Obviously, you know, we do get last say here, so that gives us some options. The Glusty Warp is likely what they're going to be locking and stealing. But this auto's not going to hit anything, so we're just going to discard this Purify. Can't use it on our own units anyway. We probably should have shot for a 2-0 against this Nilfgaard deck. I just didn't anticipate the no unit play from the early Soldiers package. Don't usually see that as often, but here they're just going to go for some crazy value on this Glusty Warp. They get out Ardfen Tortoise, which is actually kind of nice for us. So we have something to target with Striga. But here, just playing the Vautier down, getting these boosts. They're gonna swap this the Glusty Warp over to their side. It's a cool play as long as you don't get bled. We should have bled them. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the deck. I don't think it makes a lot of sense in the Gwent community. But it's something that works. You see the opponent here using it to great effect. So I think we're gonna play one more game because the first one was kind of a joke. And that will wrap up our work for today. We have a really fun couple of decks coming out. I have a fun Nilfgaard deck I think you guys will like tomorrow. And for those of you on Twitch, I'm doing these a little out of order because the Nilf that we made Northern Realms deck that obviously for you on YouTube you saw yesterday. But I had a challenge from two of my subscribers, one to do a neutrals deck and one to build in Lambert Swordmaster into Northern Realms deck. So I combined both of those challenges and made a deck that does get wins, but it's definitely not something I enjoyed playing on ladder because it is high stress. But anyway, if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Alright, so I don't love Feast of Blood here. Not useful against Patricidal Fury much at all. An NL Conqueror. I don't want to break into the other half of these two. But, you know, I'm missing my Thrive units, and I actually really like this in Dragon Warrior. That gives me some flexibility. So we're just going to have to wait to see what the opponent plays. Tursic Invader is a really weird blue coin play. You really get nothing out of that. We're going to go for Dormant Frightener here. So Skellige loves to kill your stuff. Let it. That's basically the play on Frightener with Skellige. Works really well. I've been pleased with its performance. We're gonna just open this back up here. Sorry about the glare for a second. Here we go. Uncrate Raiders are now down. We're just gonna go ahead and get the bleeds onto them. Now, you saw last time we did run into problems with Deathwish units and Haunt being a little tight in round 2. But here we have Detlef and Plague Maiden. I'd like to carry them over. So what we're actually going to do is get down Goliath. Goliath is a little dangerous because you do pull out great swords and help them establish their graveyard in that way. But otherwise worked just fine. Okay, here we don't have any row movement, so Parasite would have been my preferred choice here. That not being the case, we'll just go for Foglet. The opponent doesn't really want to destroy any of my stuff, which makes this like a little bit awkward. But we can go ahead and get down Goliath. Since they've already established a great sword. Hjalmar, the Hjalmar feed is always a problem for later on. So that being the case, we're just going to erase him for now. Welcome on stream, Spook. We are filming for Wednesday's video. Playing the deck I brought to tournament that got me the win against the undefeated champion. So I'm pretty happy with how it's getting on. What we're seeing from it. This is kind of perfect for us. Really couldn't have dreamed of that better. So Detlef here would actually get us a reasonable amount of value. We do have Goliath, so I'm actually just gonna get down Detlef here. He procs this Thrive, sets up some value for the opponent to go ahead and kill him. Then we can consume him with Draga Warrior. And then we're going to consume both of these to preserve the bleed value. The unfortunate thing is when you consume first with the Nekimara, it's going to come back at 5 points. So we need to do this first. But this is going to give us dominance. Both with the 12-point unit and the 5-point unit. And we're going to just go for the other consume here. See if we can chase the opponent out of the round now. If they keep playing, we'll go ahead and play Wild Hunt Riders. We're fine getting them down now. But yeah, for to Spook's question on stream, I played in the Aretuza Gwent League tournament. It was just the first round. There's still 3 more rounds over the next 3 weekends. I won 2 out of my 5 matchups, but my 5th matchup was against the undefeated player, so that was kind of wasn't as fair for me statistically, but it worked out well. We got a win. It was broadcast by Sealy, so that was fun. So the opponent does get the damage and the convert here. So we are going to go for Wild Hunt Rider, just because we do have the dominance, we do get the value, and the damage doesn't really mean a whole lot for us. Especially since we keep proccing the Thrive on the Bruck, so we keep getting the value back. And against Skellige, especially as monsters, I'd like to kind of force them into a position where they only have a few good cards. If we can force them to lose on evens, I'm going to be exceptionally happy. So here we saw Champion's Charge come down. They did have the bleed. He was able to destroy a really valuable unit there. But I'm just going to guess very soon that they are not going to be able to deal with this Goliath, though. So we're just going to drop this down. And worst case scenario, it gets consumed or destroyed, and it pulls out their best unit. Obviously, that would get them to win, which wouldn't be what my best option, but it does continue to force out their best cards. Champion's Charge there, you know, definitely coming out before I think they would want it to. It's usually a seal the deal play later on. I don't really understand this On-Crate Warrior play. A little weird. They don't have any other ticking engines, so we're just going to go ahead and take the pass here. So if they want to win this round, they're going to have to go down 2 cards. You know, Gutting Slash is going to do a lot of damage to us. And they're going to take the win, but I don't think they were really... I don't think they really thought that all the way through. Always make sure to count. Do your maths. It's better to lose on evens than to lose down 2. I'll tell you that much. Or even to win down 2. You can at least try to force out a bleed from your opponent. Use some tempo. So I don't love that we already used our other synergy. So here I think we have Andregalarvas. Oh, but I'm looking for another gold. So we're just gonna go ahead and play. This works really well for us. We get all the combo cards we need to make this package work. Defender, She-Troll, Plague Maiden, Glusty Warp, and then Strig is a great way for us to just kind of like get out of this round. Obviously, I'd prefer to have it for next round, but now we bring over our package of cards that is almost certainly more than enough to win if we play it right. We do need to play around Hemdall. With Plague Maiden, but I'm guessing this is a Devotion Patricidal Fury deck. Not a lot of creativity that goes on with those decks, if you will. So here looking for Haunt, Werecat, Naglfar, or even Andregalarvas over both of these NL Conquerors. Beast of Blood, probably the worst of all the cards that we could have gotten. Really sucks to miss Haunt, but it's not the end of the world. So here we're just going to generate everything up onto melee row, and then use Plague Maiden to seal a deal. Lionel Gustafson, or Wizard of Light, you guys have seen him recently, sharing some of his fun plays with us. This is a really weird play. I mean, he does get the destruction there. I just kind of want to say big whoop. This is trading a 6 provision cost card to eliminate half of a 5 provision cost card. Feels a little awkward to me. I think he would have rather had that for Cave Troll later on. But we'll find out. Lionel Gustafson joining stream asking if anyone has tasted cloudberries. So if you've ever tasted cloudberries, put that in the comments here on YouTube. And for those of you on Twitch, always share your thoughts. This is weird. I don't like this. I don't think this is very smart, in my personal and professional opinion. So fun thing we can do with Feast of Blood too, it removes the veils. So we can actually eliminate him over time after we have an Ekimara spawned, which is just kind of whenever it's convenient for us. We're going to start here with Cave Troll. We proc all these thrives and force the opponent into a bit of a tough situation. Now, depending on how you want to like play this, we're playing against Heimdall. Heimdall's what scares me most. So Plague Maiden, this is gonna be a stunning blow, or Hjalmar onto a greatsword, and that's fine. He doesn't have anything that can cause me nightmares, so we're just gonna let that go. I do think this Feast of Blood, I'd like to get full value out of it, so we're actually just going to go ahead and do this. This also puts us out of range for Blood Eagle. So, and for those of you who remember, the opponent did play Blood Eagle round 1, brought out a Drum Berserker, so they do have one. So I do need to proc the Thrive on this Andrega Larva. A little unfortunate here, we don't really have a great way of protecting She-Troll. We just kind of have to get her down at some point. So we're going to go for Plague Maiden first. Then we're going to play our She-Troll, just again playing out of range of the Blood Eagle. Looks like the opponent is going to save Patricidal Fury. If it is Heimdall, that will cause problems for our Plague Maiden. Otherwise, it'd be like a donor on Hindar, but they lose their Hjalmar here, so I don't know. We're going to go for She-Troll just because it represents the most value. Now, donor on Hindar could erase her, but Heimdall is going to destroy all of those individual rats. So, I mean, we would still have the Plague Maiden, so it might not kill all of them, but you know, odds are that it would. And this way, we actually proc the Arnulf melee, which is the best case scenario for us, because we run out of room to ranged. He should have played that to ranged. That being the case, looks like they're going for Blood Eagle. I'm guessing this is going to be with a Heimdall. Heimdall's going to punish this row. Whatever sticks around is going to get consumed by the Glusty. So we'll just have to see what survives. Looks like She-Troll is down to 1. He was going for the kill there. It's not going to be enough. So we're going to go for the consume. She-Troll's going to go up 3. And then the Andrega Larva is going to be part of the consume chain here. And we're just going to put up crazy points. Glusty being almost enough value on his own, but She-Troll really closing the deal. So, I think this was fun. I think we had a good time. I hope you guys enjoyed. Try this deck out. It is very good. Won me some great, really competitive games in tourney mode. If you're interested in doing tourneys, you know, it's a great way to do it. But if you are just looking for ladder play, it's also great for that as well. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Put that down in the comments. Until next time, good luck on the path. Get out there. Keep on Gwenting.